The legendary killer known as Jason has been caught by the US government and is being held at a research facility. Because he can't truly be killed, the scientists plan to cryogenically freeze him. Guard keeps getting creeped out by Jason's stare, so he throws a blanket over his head. Meanwhile, Dr. Rowan is arguing with her boss because it's been decided that instead of freezing Jason, they'll send him to a lab to research his regeneration abilities for profit. Rowan thinks it's a bad idea because it'll allow Jason to keep on killing, but her boss ignores her. Afterward, the scientist and a bunch of soldiers enter the room with Jason, but when they remove the blanket, they discover the guard's body in the chains instead. At that moment, Jason comes out of hiding and starts killing all the men in the room without mercy. The soldiers open fire on him, yet the bullets do nothing. Jason uses various objects to do his killing, including the chains from his captivity. When the lead scientist tries running away, Jason throws a tool to kill him too. Rowan is waiting outside and she screams when a soldier is thrown through the door. At that moment, Jason appears behind her, so Rowan picks up the soldier's gun and runs to the lab, where she hides and waits for Jason. When he comes in, she kicks the furniture and starts shooting him to push him into the pod, then she rushes to lock him up. Rowan activates the machine, but as the cryogenization begins, Jason still manages to thrust his machete through the door to stab her. This creates a breach in the machine that is detected by the facility, triggering a lockdown protocol. Cryogenic fluid spills into the room and Rowan gets frozen as well. 400 years later, Earth has become a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Since it's too polluted to live on it, humanity travels to a new planet named Earth 2. One day, Dr. Lowe and his team of college students visit Earth on a field trip. They get inside the facility and open the pod, discovering a frozen Jason inside. They also find Rowan on the ground, looking perfectly preserved. The team decides to take both bodies to their ship, and when they try to move Jason, he falls and his machete cuts off Azrael's arm. Fortunately, the android KM-14 quickly gives him an injection to deal with the pain for now. The group carries the bodies through a sandstorm and make it back to the shuttle, which immediately takes off and returns to the main ship. Azrael is put in a healing machine and nanotechnology reattaches his arm back in just a few minutes. Rowan and Jason are taken to separate labs to be woken up, although some tests are run first. Seeing the scans, the group is surprised at the fact Jason could function with such a small brain. While the nanotechnology heals Rowan's stab wound in Lab 1, Adrian pokes Jason to take a sample of his brain in Lab 2. When Rowan is fully healed, she wakes up and panics, slapping Lowe in the process. He explains the situation and Rowan calms down, but she's in shock to hear she's in the future. Afterward, Lowe goes to his office to call the Solaris research station and sends them Rowan's and Jason's files, hoping to get some money out of the situation. Reviving a 400-year-old cryogenized person isn't news anymore because everyone can do it, so Rowan isn't found interested. However, Jason is still infamous in the future and Lowe agrees to sell him as an attraction. After he hangs up, his student Janessa comes to see him so they can get naughty together in exchange for a good grade. Back to Adrian, she removes Jason's mask and notices how disfigured his face is, so she immediately puts it back and concentrates on studying the sample. Behind her, Jason is starting to twitch as he unfreezes. In another room, Sonaran is trying to give KM-14 a full chest, but the Areolas keep falling. There are two different couples getting dirty at the moment and their groans cause Jason to finally wake up. When Adrian turns around, she doesn't see him on the table. Jason suddenly appears behind her to grab her by the face and throw her across the room. Through the glass wall, Adrian screams to try to alert Wayland, but he can't hear her. Afterward, Lowe introduces Rowan to some of his students and she gets to admire some of their experiments, being particularly impressed by KM-14. At this moment, Wayland shows up with Jason's old machete and Rowan freaks out when she realizes they've brought Jason aboard. They go to Lab 2 and find Adrian's body, so Security Chief Brodsky declares a lockdown through the speakers and asks everyone to hide in Lab 1. In one of the rooms, a naughty couple of students gets ready to leave, but Jason appears at the door and immediately kills the boy, causing blood to splatter on a screaming Kinsa's face. Then Jason drags the guy away, so Kinsa runs to meet with the others and tell them what happened. Brodsky is furious and orders his solders to destroy Jason on sight. A second monster appears behind him. Dallas doesn't act fast enough, but luckily Ezreal kills it with one shot. It turns out they're playing in a video game simulation and they haven't heard Brodsky's announcement. They are about to fight another monster only for Jason to appear and defeat it first. Then Jason attacks both guys with his machete, only to get confused when they continue to talk even while decapitated. Suddenly Dallas says game over and the simulation disappears, helping the duo realize the killer is real. Jason grabs Ezreal and Dallas shoots him to make him drop his friend, but the bullets do nothing. Ezreal tries jumping on Jason from behind, however Jason easily grabs him again and breaks his back before dropping him dead on the ground. Next he takes Dallas and smashes his face on the wall. Moments later, two soldiers find the bodies in the gaming room and inform the others, who are getting more worried by the second. At the same time, Engineer Crutch is working at his desk with his headphones on, so he doesn't know about the situation either. Suddenly he sees Jason approaching him in his mirror, and before he can react, Brodsky and his soldiers show up and tell him to duck. They shoot Jason dozens of times, destroying half the room in the process. Once the fire is over, they realize Jason is gone. After Crutch leaves for Lab 1, the soldiers split up to look for Jason, believing he must be severely wounded. This allows Jason to keep on killing quietly. First he grabs a soldier from the back and drags him into a corner to break his neck. Then he finds another soldier alone and attacks him with his machete. A fight ensues and the soldier manages to land a couple of hits, however Jason easily punches him off the rail and makes him fall on some machinery that impales. As her teammate grieves for her, Jason appears and the soldier immediately opens fire. The bullets push Jason back into a hook and the soldier pushes a button to suspend him in the air before telling the others on the radio that he won. However Jason just jumps off the hook and kills him by cutting his body in two. Brodsky tries to look for them and finds the last soldier hanging dead on the hook, meaning he's the only one left. Refusing to give up, Brodsky keeps sneaking around until Jason's arm breaks through a wall and drags him against it to stab him. A smug Brodsky says this isn't enough, so Jason stabs him again to actually kill him. All the students worry, so Lo tells them they just need to wait for another ship to help them because he's already activated a beacon. At that moment someone starts banging on the door and everyone screams, causing the pounding to stop. As they wonder the meaning of this, Jason bursts in through the glass wall connected to the other lab. The group panics and starts running away, hiding in another room that KM-14 locks up. Lo stays behind and tries talking to Jason, offering him fame and fortune. Jason finds his original machete and immediately shuts Lo up.
KM-14 opens fire, yet all the bullets bounce off Jason's body. Then she tries hitting him, only for Jason to immediately decapitate her. Senarin rushes to pick the head up and Rowan acts as his shield. So Jason starts chalking her. Waylander jumps in to fight him, and while Jason is distracted beating him up, the others escape into the intact area. Once everyone is safe, Waylander activates the bombs and the ship successfully separates in two, although he dies in the process and Jason is pushed out by the shockwave. Moments later, the rescue vessel finally is getting closer. However, Jason suddenly punches through the wall from the outside. As the resulting hole starts to suck everything up, everyone rushes to hold on. But unfortunately, Janessa chooses a grill that soon flies away. Rowan tries to reach out to her and their fingertips barely get to touch before Janessa is sucked away to her death. Afterward, Rowan, Brodsky, Senarin, and KM-14's head make it to the other room and lock the door. Through the window, they see Jason punching through the walls again to re-enter the ship, so they start running away. Eventually, they make it to the docking port at the same time the rescue vessel makes contact with the ship. But the gate isn't working and Senarin can't override the system. Brodsky decides to go on a spacewalk to jump the lines, so he suits up and leaves through the maintenance hatch. As Brodsky works on the control panel, Senarin and Rowan hear Jason breaking down doors and making his way to them. To buy some time, Senarin connects KM-14's head to the computer and activates the video game simulation around Jason, using Earth's database of Jason's hometown to replicate it. Barely get to touch before Janessa is sucked away to her death. Afterward, Rowan, Brodsky, Senarin, and KM-14's head make it to the other room and lock the door. Through the window, they see Jason punching through the walls again to re-enter the ship, so they start running away. Eventually, they make it to the docking port at the same time the rescue vessel makes contact with the ship. But the gate isn't working and Senarin can't override the system. Brodsky decides to go on a spacewalk to jump the lines, so he suits up and leaves through the maintenance hatch. As Brodsky works on the control panel, Senarin and Rowan hear Jason breaking down doors and making his way to them. To buy some time, Senarin connects KM-14's head to the computer and activates the video game simulation around Jason, using Earth's database of Jason's hometown to replicate it.